Less popular than football or handball, the women's rugby community is taking up more and more space in the world of sports in Côte d'Ivoire. Inter-school competitions and the interprofessional league that have just launched in Abidjan, where 23 men's clubs and 14 women's clubs play, contribute greatly to this growing trend. Despite the limited resources available to the clubs and the national federation, nothing appears to deter Sekongo Aishata, the captain of the national women's rugby team, from her ambition to compete against other countries on the international scene. I discovered this sport at school through my teacher, Mr. Ouattara Legisongi, at the Modern High School of Wangolo in Class 6. It is not easy financially with the clubs, but we also want to play internationally to show that Côte d'Ivoire has great potential in women's rugby. Deemed dangerous, rugby is a strong passion of these young athletes, who are sometimes forced to find pretexts or secretly escape to training. The girls do everything they can to succeed in order to convince those around them of the value of their chosen sport. In the beginning, my parents did not want me to play rugby because it is a man's sport. Sometimes we hid to go and play, or we found excuses to say we were going to gym class at school, and we were in fact going to play rugby. Leaders and former players are hard at work to meet the challenge of establishing women's rugby in the country and setting up a strong international women's team.
Today, the
challenge is to set up a national women's rugby team and to ensure that rugby is played throughout Côte d'Ivoire. Rugby is not just a man's sport. I am a woman, and I play rugby to say that rugby is also a woman's sport, and that women also have their place in rugby. And these are the values that we want to imbibe in young girls. Increasingly in the spotlight, rugby is seen by many young girls as a means of emancipation. Today, there are more than 300 licensed female rugby players in Côte d'Ivoire.